Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is Sam from the Soul of Stella with another pick a card reading here for you today. I just want to take a moment and say thank you all for your support in growing the channel, liking and commenting the videos. I do put these videos out for free. I do have personal readings. The link to that is in the description below, and they are done via a video link and a private listed video on YouTube. So I do really appreciate the support in helping to grow this channel, because that all helps. All the comments, all the discussions in the comments below, subscribing to the channel, it all helps. So I want to say thank you so much for that. It helps me keep bringing you new readings, and today's reading is another pick a card, of course, and this one is all about why you can't stop thinking about them, okay? Whoever them might be, why you can't stop thinking about them. I do have the intention that most of these are going to be love-based, but we'll see what comes up, and then we're going to ask, are they thinking about you too, and see if Spirit will answer that for us, okay? Because we all want to know that kind of stuff. So take a moment. Ground yourself, center yourself, tune into your intuition. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. Whichever you are drawn to, the timestamps are in the link below. So I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1, this is your reading all about why you can't stop thinking about them, and are they thinking about you too. We're going to cover as much as we can about why you can't stop thinking about them. And the reason I want you to dive into that is so that you can clarify your feelings. And when we clarify our feelings, we can move in directions that feel more stable, that feel right, okay? That feel right in our soul and right. You know, we always want to be making like good choices in our life. Sometimes we want to rebel, and that's totally fine as well. But when we understand our thoughts, we can then process them better, and then we can move better, okay? So I've already pulled a few cards to start with. Of course, only take this how it resonates, because it still is a collective reading. And we're going to dive into are they thinking about you too in a moment. But let's go with these cards to start. Okay, I'm going to pop that in the middle. Why are you thinking about this person? We've got lost lands and I'm sorry. Okay, lost lands and I'm sorry. So there's a deep sense of loss here about something that possibly you did to protect your own reputation here. Okay, or you're wanting to defend or restore your own reputation here with the 10th house. Lost lands is like a soul memory or soul gifts. It's something that you feel like you've done before. I feel this is something that, like a lesson that you've had to repeat a few times. And this is why it feels like there's twin energy here, okay, with the two people. It feels like, yeah, this is familiar. I've got deja vu, like I've been here before. Almost like begging for forgiveness. There's a sense of defenselessness here. Righting past wrongs and uprooting feelings is what I really... uprooting like what went wrong. But it does feel like this is something that has happened in the recent past, and probably something that happened in like a longer period of time. And now you're actually looking at yourself. I feel like you're really like growing, and it's painful, pile number 1. You're growing and it's painful. And this could be happening at the same time that you're almost, I feel like it's almost like you're being forced to grow because you've been thrust into the limelight in some way, shape or form, whether it's your career has had a boost, or just in your community, the communities in which you operate, you're like more well known. It's giving me star card energy. So it does feel like healing coinciding with an up level to success at the same time. And you're kind of been like put on display or made like a role model in some way, and that has caused you some discombobulation, like, of the heart, where you're like, I don't feel like I'm completely in alignment. I don't feel like I'm completely authentic to be speaking on this topic when I actually have this baggage or this like error of my ways that I haven't yet corrected, and I know that I want to, and I know that I need to. And so you're really like mulling things over deeply. And it's not just at night time. I feel like this is day and night, like day and night. And you're just thinking about it constantly. And there might actually be something coming up where this person is going to see you either on screen or, you know, your photograph is going to be taken, or you're bound to end up in this person's inbox or in their For You page or something like that, where you're gaining a reputation as someone who is grounded and someone who possibly has righted all their wrongs, and maybe even teaching other people how to do that. With this Lost Lands, it's like something has come up for you that is like a past life gift, that feels very natural, and it does feel very healing for others as well as yourself. There's like this Neptunian energy of this underwater world that mirrors the world above, like as above, so below. And that's why I'm feeling like you're feeling, and I feel a sense of fret about this as well. And you really want to like reroot yourself, but first of all, you need to dig up the roots. It's like if you've ever seen a strangler fig like take over another tree in a rainforest, you're just kind of left with this hollow shell, and you need to like untangle the strangler fig so that you can grow something back in the position that was like where the tree once was. So although there's life around you, there's this sense of like numbness, or just not complete. There's that like hollow feeling in your heart, that you really need to mend. And you do have the competence, you do have the drive to actually achieve this and to see this through. But I think you're fretting about it because you're unsure about how this other person is going to respond, especially given that they might have some bitterness around the fame or notoriety or standing, success, the responsibility that you have like now stepped into. They may actually see that and want to rebel against that. And I mean, a little bit selfishly, you're also thinking, please don't out me. You know, please don't out me for what I did to you, because I'm not that person anymore. And the reason that you're able to teach from this position, I'm strongly getting a sense of teaching, because the 10th house can also talk about social causes and social status, but social causes especially is coming to mind, where you might be in a position of fame to some degree, or a position of power to some degree. But the reason you're able to teach from that position or speak from that position on that certain topic is because you've lived it, and you're living it at this very point in time. So it might not even be lived. It's like, I'm living it and I'm speaking it out. So it feels like a bit of imposter syndrome here, where you're like, do I deserve to speak on this topic yet, when I'm not completely in a position where I feel like I've healed this, healed my reputation in the eyes of this other person. So we've also got dark woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with dark complexion or hair. Okay, we've got cat, two-faced friend. Mice. Interesting that there's cat and mice. Discord among friends or family. Two-faced friend and discord among friends and family. Interesting. I feel like someone really came after someone else. And then you've got mountain road. You are on the road to success. 100%. I see that the struggle is real for you to get up this mountain, and it might have felt like there's been quite a lot of struggle to actually get to this point, and now you're at this point. You're kind of like, well, why do I have to deal with this right now? But it's actually the divine timing. It's actually perfect timing. What I'm feeling is this has to do, I do feel like it has to do with a friend, and it's a case of, or a lover, but it's a case of strong friendship vibes and female friendships of that, especially with the cat here. And I just heard it's like herding cats, okay? So it might have been really difficult to actually have a relationship with this person. However, it was just because your challenges were different. It was just because your purposes were different. And so they couldn't understand why you wanted to succeed in such a way and why you were headed down this red carpet. But there's some kind of rapport that was built between the two of you. And I think it has something to do with like a friendship that kind of not was forced in the same room, but found themselves in the same room, okay? It's like a cat being placed in a room full of mice, and you know, you know cats, right? Sometimes they're very placid and playful, you know, almost lazy and nonchalant, and sometimes they're ferocious. And I feel like you made friends with not an unknown enemy, but someone that was outside your sphere of your normal friendship. And there might have been an inkling that this person wasn't someone you were actually like going to be friends with for a long time, or like there was an inkling of like, I'm not sure about this person. And I think that it's almost like you were playing with fire here. But whatever transpired between the two of you, where one of you or both of you was provoked in some way by the other, and I feel like one was intentionally and the other was unintentionally, and I feel like this is the hard part, because I'm actually feeling like quite rigid in my movements. I'm feeling like you've got a big heart here, pile number one, and not saying that this person doesn't have a big heart, but I'm feeling that you were more empathetic towards this person, and I think you're coming across as the cat. You may be a Leo, but it just feels like you're coming across as the cat, and when you were provoked by this mouse, who, you know, just didn't have the stature or the, I'm going to say position, and that sounds so judgmental, but it's like facts of life. Do you know what I mean? It's like this person just had like their very comfortable, happy life doing their mouse things, you know, and you were here like wanting to grow into a lion, okay? You were like, okay, I'm a cat, but I know I can be a lion. And that like difference in ambition levels really kind of put this person on edge around you, and I think they provoked you, and you may have then turned into the ferocious cat. And I think you have a big heart, and you're like, well, it was all my fault, you know, I'm supposed to be loving of all creatures, and you know, I'm supposed to, there's something very like in a spiritual awakening sense, there's something very like you're not allowing yourself to be human in this moment, or you're beating yourself up about something where you were very human. You were provoked and you reacted, and that's human, and you're not proud of that, but also you can then move on from that in a healthy way instead of really tormenting yourself about it. And it does feel like there's a sense of like you're carrying around this bell around your neck that keeps reminding you of the way you treated this one person. And this deep sense of like self-loathing is coming from this. Again, with the twin energy here, the Gemini energy, it feels like you feel like you're two people in one body. You're like, I didn't know that side of myself, but you're really just coming to terms with the shadow side of yourself, but also you're coming to terms with your humanity. Okay, this is a really interesting read. And I think that you're trying to put on this face for your reputation that is like, now I'm in the spotlight, I am this perfect person, but like I feel like a fraud. But you don't have to. There is something about, you may need to speak on this in your position or career or fame at some point in time. But at the moment, you're going to have a personal journey of apologizing to this person. And it doesn't matter how this person reacts, because this person may react quite small-minded, okay? And they may, in fact, keep like a sense of resentment towards you, especially if they see you succeeding and they're like, well, damn, I could never. But that's their mindset to have and to hold, you know? And that's not on you. And so I do feel like there's a sense of you letting bygones be bygones here, and accepting that you're going to have to be the bigger person because that's who you want to be, okay? And you don't need closure for this situation. And in fact, your closure is to say I'm sorry and to right your wrongs in a way that makes you feel good. And I know that sounds selfish for my deep feelers, okay? But it's up to this person whether they're going to accept a true apology or not. And I do feel like this is a true deep apology coming from the root of you, where you're like, I did not want to behave like that. But it's also like thanking this person, okay, for the lesson that they have taught you, and for the impact that will then shape this new tree, this new root system, okay, for you, that will actually help to ground you in a way where you feel your confidence expanding as your reputation grows, okay? All right, let me get some more info on this before we get too carried away. Pile number 1. Why can't you stop thinking about this though? Why can't pile 1 stop thinking about this? I just want a few more cards, Spirit, just to clarify. Like, what is the lesson? And why is it hurting pile number 1 so much? I think maybe you were... Ooh, that's an interesting message. I'm just getting that you maybe were crucified in some way, shape or form. Not to say literally, but it could have been. In some way, shape or form in a past life. This is why it feels like a memory from a past life, is that you were triggered by this, or this was something that came up before that really, like, you were harshly judged for, okay? Interesting. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. I'm getting a sense that you felt really bad for succeeding while this person stayed small. And you have every right to live the life of your dreams and to take new opportunities that are offered towards you. And if stability is your goal and stability is being offered to you and prosperity, and you're making good use of your resources, and if someone else isn't, then that's totally okay. We have the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So this is going to require you to think fast. Okay, that's the Hangman in reverse. Yeah, you've maybe have been at a standstill for a long time about this with the Knight of Swords and the Hangman in reverse here. It does feel like you've been in limbo for a while, and now with the Knight of Swords, it's like you've got to send that message, you've got to have that conversation, you've got to be really focused, really daring, really courageous, be really assertive and direct about this. Come from a place of intellect over emotion so that you can speak calmly. But you're also you're wanting to not actually stand in a position where you sound like a victim. And you also don't want to put this person in a victim mentality. My throat chakra is acting up as I'm saying that. So it feels like you really have to ground yourself. Because this feels like, whether you like it or not, this is going to be resolved quite quickly. And the Queen of Swords is here, and she's honest and fair and direct, okay? And she sets clear boundaries, and she has constructive criticism, and she uses logic. So this might be really outside your comfort zone, pile number 1, to do this. But this test, again, is like, thank you to this person and this situation for coming into my life, because it's really going to give you the skills that you need. I'm hearing to, like, speak publicly and to deal with the public in a different way, where you're not going to overly emotionally react and beat yourself up for days on end about the smallest things. It's like, busy people get things done, faster because they have a quick decision making mechanism built into their day. They're like, well, I'm not going to moan and groan. I know the position, I know the outcome that I want to get to, so I'm actually going to go with this decision because it gets me closer to this, and this decision because it gets me closer to that, and it's like a domino effect of like swift decisions because they trust their gut, because they trust where they are going. And this is actually something that I was posting about on my Instagram this morning, so very interesting that this is coming up. But I do feel like you're going to have to come to terms with how to communicate this from a place of heart, but also from a place of, I don't want you to feel like the victim here, because that's not what I'm trying to get you to do. I'm trying to get you to see that we're just different and we're human, and here's my apology, and it's sincere and it's true and it's deep, and I thank you for the lessons that you have taught me. However, I do also feel like you do not need to let this person back into your life, because you actually now realize that cat and mice should not play together, okay? It's like, and not because of social standing or anything like that, but because of mindset. You actually need to surround yourself at the moment with like the top 5 people that you want to be like, okay? There's a really driven energy to you, pile 1, and that is beautiful because you're actually coming from a place of like not being driven by greed, but by being driven by the message that you know you need to teach the world, but you're actually living and learning a big part of that right now, okay? So that's super interesting. Now, is this person thinking about you too? Actually, I might start with that and then that'll be the advice deck. Is this person thinking about you too? I'm going to take that one. It says opportunity. Yeah, I think they're watching you like achieve a lot at the moment. They're actually seeing you. Remember how I said like you're going to pop up? I think they already have seen this, and this is why it's coming to a head quite quickly. Listen, it doesn't need to be perfect. There's a sense with the Knight of Swords that it can, like, you can fall into like the perfect time, but when the opportunity arises, you really need to take it, choose a new direction. Yeah, and you do not need to remain friends with this person, pile number 1. So is this person a year from now? Look, this person probably won't understand. I'd say it's a yes. With this opportunity and the coin falling down, I say yes, this person is definitely thinking about you too and thinking about this situation. But I also think they're seeing you go in a new direction, and they're happy with their life, their mice life, okay? They're actually happy with that. And a year from now is when they will truly understand this. That is usually, that is like actually quite common. That someone who is not at the same level of mindset as you, as like, or even interested in personal growth in any way, shape or form, it is usually like a delayed reaction for them to not catch up to you, but to have their own moment of recognition and their own shadow work that they do on themselves. And so this might be the first instance of this happening for them, whereas I feel like it's like a second or third instance of this kind of thing happening for you. And if not in this life, then in a past life, and that's why you're quite deeply triggered by this. But a year from now, I do feel like this is all going to be water under the bridge, okay? But I do see them seeing you on the world stage or on like a fame, like in this fame position a year from now, and actually being able to look at you in a different way, actually being able to look at you as someone like, that's someone that I used to know, and not in the way of the Gautier song where it's like heartbreak. It's like, no, I'm fine now. Like, don't call me sweetheart anymore. It's like, just call me by my name, you know, that kind of feeling. Really interesting message. What is the advice here for pile number 1, please, Spirit? What is the advice? Step up and lead. I feel like you need to lead yourself first, and that is where other people are going to really resonate with you. They're going to see your authenticity, they're going to see your humanness, and they're going to feel okay to do the same thing. So whatever this is that you're doing with your career, I do feel like in some way, shape or form, at some point this is going to come forward. And this Capricorn energy and the mountain road, as you work your way to success, and you're on your way to success, you are on your road to success here, it is going to require some effort to keep asserting those boundaries, and not overly emoting over every single thing that happens and draining your resources. in terms of like energetic vibration that you put out or accept. You really might have to protect yourself if you've got empathic tendencies. You might have to like zip yourself up every day from your feet, zip yourself up all the way to the crown, and just see yourself as really protected, or see a bubble of white light forming around you every time you step out the door. There's just something very healing about this green energy. It will require some work though, because Capricorn is obviously like the working kind of sign. Full moon in Libra, find a balance. This is going to set everything right. And there's something very balanced about this opportunity here as well. It feels like a year from now, you're actually going to be like in this place of success, but also feeling like you belong there. Okay, I deserve to be here. And, you know, sometimes that is what it is, that sometimes we take a while. Our physical body may be enjoying the success, but our mind and heart and soul can take a minute to like really absorb that and be like, yeah, okay, this is true, this is real, I deserve this, I'm working hard for this, and you know, as above so below. The last quarter moon in Libra, make time for self-love. So 2 Libra energy cards here. Make time for self-love. That is like that nurturing, enveloping love around yourself, and seeing your humanness, seeing the 2 sides of yourself, and seeing like the depth of your emotions, but also the clarity in which those emotions can be communicated to people who may not understand fully. You may be a pile who is often misunderstood, but I feel with this reputation, this fame, this career success, this acknowledgement that you're receiving at the moment, you're going to find your tribe. You're going to actually find people who really understand you, and you're going to have to be an example of self-love. You're going to have to be an example of stepping up and leading, and you're going to be an example of finding a balance, and they're going to learn from that. Okay, so everything you are going through at the moment is actually for a higher and greater good. Not just for yourself, but for the people that you are in community with. Okay, so that is the message that I have for you, pile number 1. I hope that this resonated. Please let me know in the comments below if it did and how. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Pile number 2, this is your reading all about why you can't stop thinking about them, and are they thinking about you too? Okay. We've already pulled some cards, so let's get into it. Put that one in the middle. Something left unsaid. A message left unsent. Something needs to be grounded. You'd rather be moving things towards success rather than them sitting in the heat of the frying pan where it feels like accusations are kind of bubbling. And dark man, dealings or relationship with a man with dark hair or complexion. Okay. We've got messenger here, serious energy, bringing harmony and balance, and earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. I think you're thinking about this person, pile number 2. Like I said, there's a lot left unsaid. And I think there's a lot left to learn here, a lot left to understand, a different lens to view things through. You need to rewrite this narrative with this person. Messenger, bringing harmony and balance. I actually need more information. Straight up. Straight up. Learning how to be human in the world but not of it. I'm getting a sense of guilt here. But is it yours or is it theirs? Analysis. Climbing towards success. Like there's some similarities here with pile number 1. So I just want to be really clear with Spirit. Like let's just get the messages for pile number 2 here, please. Why is pile number 2 constantly thinking about this person? Why? What is the communication that needs to be shared? What is the message that needs to be shared? I love how tarot just like sums everything up. What is this message? Why is pile number 2 constantly thinking about this person? I'm feeling like you want to give this another shot, or you're hoping this person wants to give this another shot, is more to the point. You're hoping that the harsh words that were said between the two of you at the time of something breaking down are not actually remembered by this person. And I'm feeling that like the other person is a masculine, but take it how it resonates. It may be flipped for you. 2 masculine cards here with the Emperor, which is an Aries card, and this Dark Man, okay? Not necessarily talking about that person's features, but I mean, it could be very specific for some of you. But this is divine masculine energy with the Emperor, and it is someone who is driven and often driven towards success. It's like the daddy of the zodiac, someone with authority, stability, control. What's on the bottom of the deck? The 7 of Pentacles. Like, this is going to take work, and it's like you are prepared now to put in the work and to sow a seed, or to kind of like harvest a seed or wait for the harvest. It's like you're tending to the plant that was once a seed, and now it's a plant. It's a little bit straggly, like it's barely holding on to life, but if you put energy into it, and you give it the right nourishment, the right amount of water, the right amount of sunshine, there's success and waiting here with this 7 of Pentacles. I also want to see the bottom, Ace of Pentacles, new material offer as well, like a new job opportunity or even like a gift. Is there a sense of like you feel like you're owed something, or even like a date, like you're owed a date with this person? Okay, this is a really interesting message, but I think someone has, that you've been dealing with, you've been thinking about them because, not just because of what was like left unsaid, and there were some harsh words exchanged, and I think you've both grown a lot in that time, but I think because this person has a lot going on, and you're kind of hoping that this person is like not just getting their shit together, but like that they're actually able to stabilize, okay? With this ladder climbing towards success and then the Emperor underneath, it's like the ladder was unstable, and that was potentially what caused, there's a separation here, and this separation is avoiding communication, okay? So it might not be that this person is too far away from you, but there's definitely messages that are left unsaid, or messages that are left unsent, or like left on read, okay? And I think with this Emperor and the Earth energy, I'm getting Aries and Capricorn vibes. So it gives me someone who is focused on their work and driven towards action of setting things right in their material, financial world. This could be someone that's going through a divorce. It could also be someone that's been going through like a painful promotion. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but like someone who's really had to like step up in a big way, and it's been almost painful to be burdened or blessed, either or, by so much responsibility at once. It's like, be careful what you ask for, and this person kind of got it all. And I feel like this person got the truth that they were needing in a situation outside of your connection, and in fact that truth was lumped onto them in a way that they had to really focus, that they really had to like control what they could control. And at that point they just, like, the things between you two excuse me, coughing in the throat chakra there, just like there's really something that this person wants to get off their chest. Because I was talking about them, my throat is actually closing over. If this is you that is feeling like you want to get a lot off your chest, your affirmation with this self-expression of the throat chakra here is, I speak my truth and express myself honestly, okay? If that is for you. And especially with this clear quartz and the communication, it's almost like a distorted quartz as well, and there's gold leaf, and there's busy bees, and there's like a lot of like telecommunication as well, with all the like it feels like nodes and satellites and stuff like that buzzing around the world. There's just a lot going on in this person's life, and there's a lot left unsaid between the two of you. They may have to be dealing, with a lot of reporting. And again, this feels like a divorce of some type or a promotion. and they're just learning how to be human, and so are you. And it's almost like you're not touching the ground right now until this person comes back through with a message for you. And that's why you can't stop thinking about this person. And you might actually be in a state of denial about this. You may actually be like only acknowledging it in your dream state, how much this person impacts you, because it's almost like you guys are meeting in the dream or astral realm and having full-on communication, and possibly to the point where you wake up and you feel like you really need to message them because it's all too real, you know. And I think that there's been some heat on you two, or between you two, and there's a divine love here. And it's interesting that there's this heat, because it's like, well, there was passion, and with passion sometimes comes harsh words, okay, with trouble and accusations. But I also feel like there's a lot of trouble and accusations coming in communication that has nothing to do with you, but it's surrounding you both, and it's what's actually putting a divide between the two of you. This does feel like a really deep soul connection, and this is why you can't stop thinking about this person. You may actually really resonate as an empress, okay? If you're not resonating as the emperor here, I think you would be resonating as the empress. So like the queen of all queens, like the mother of the zodiac, someone who's very nurturing but also very disciplined and independent in their own right. And to her children, or her, I just heard minions, but that's not the word I was looking for. To her people, she can also be very tough love, okay? It's like with that mothering energy, it's like discipline and it's nurturing, discipline and nurturing. So it's like, it might not be the truth you want to hear, but it's the truth that needs to be shared so that you can grow. And I think you're mothering yourself right now, and you're really trying to just focus on yourself, but this energy is really building momentum. I feel like if we're pulled from that certain deck, it would say this energy is building momentum. Actually, I have the Moonology deck right here, so it might actually come out. And this is why it's coming to a head, and this is why it feels like this harvest time is actually coming to fruition. It's coming now. These busy bees are working behind the scene. This messenger of love, I feel, is really coming to restore the harmony and balance between the two of you. And you're wanting a new start here. You're wanting a new start in the passion that you had for each other. You're wanting to like turn the like gas off on the frying pan and actually tune out all the trouble and accusations of anyone else that was getting involved or getting in the way, okay? But I feel like you're feeling like you're owed something. You're owed like a new opportunity. You're owed like a message to say, here is my love for you. It hasn't actually died at all. I just had to put you on mute, okay? That's very interesting. I just had to put you on mute. And actually what I want to do is set things right. I want to come through with a gift or a date or a small like token of my appreciation for your patience. And I do feel like this person is thinking about you as well. I think this person thinks that they are, I mean, they very much do seem like it, like a victim of their own circumstances here. And I think they think they've left you in a position where your hands are tied. And they're actually thinking to themselves, is this person still available? Oh my goodness. And as I said that, the Four of Cups is underneath that, okay? And then the Four of Pentacles. They're wondering if you're still available, and they're wondering if you would even consider their offer if they did come through. And they're really wanting to hold on to this situation, and they're wanting to come through with new ideas. They're wanting to come forward. That like the Page of Wands is here. It's really someone who is coming forward with a lot of fresh energy, okay, and coming forward and saying, but I still love you. And they're coming from a place of like renewed energy is what I'm feeling. Renewed energy. There's a decision to be made here, guys. Are you going to hold on to this person and wait, even though it feels like this is like you won't have too much longer to wait, and that you possibly have been waiting a long time already, and you might actually feel quite guarded when this person does come through. Sorry about the brightness there. I was completely just looking at the cards then. And with this Four of Cups, it's like a sense of melancholy and feeling like all the other offers that are coming through for you at the moment, you can't even be bothered to open the apps or to reply back to other people, because at the heart of things, even though you're kind of like denying it, at the heart of things, you are waiting for this person to come back around. It feels like a missed opportunity. It feels like words left unsaid. It feels like unfinished business. And this person really does understand that they put you in kind of like a trapped, helpless kind of position here, but they also felt trapped and helpless by the circumstances that they found themselves in, and they needed to protect their assets. They needed to, and that might include family, I just heard. And they needed to protect what was, and also I have a feeling that they were trying to protect you, but they went about it in very extreme measures because that's the only way they could handle it. And that is someone who has like a very disciplined mindset sometimes as well. They have like a one-track mind. It's like, in order to completely and thoroughly know that I get the best possible result out of this, I must silence this part of my life so I can just focus on that, okay? That is someone who perhaps also has a bit of like work to do in understanding. And I think this lesson has taught them, will teach them, is teaching them as we speak, that it's teaching them a lesson in how to appreciate all facets of their life, and actually that some things, excuse me. Ooh, this is a hard lesson for this person. And this is going to be something that this person might find very difficult to say, but once they say it, I feel like the floodwaters of their emotions will actually start to pour out. I'm actually holding my heart as I say that. And I think it's going to be a tough lesson for this person to realize, like, what is important in their life can be this and this. It doesn't just have to be like one thing at a time. And although they needed that compartmentalizing kind of behavior to get through this situation, this deep soul connection has called them like no other. This alignment with you, this union with you, they want to bring back this union with you. They want to set things right. So I definitely feel like, in fact, I think they're thinking about you so much that you can't help but think about them, as much as you're kind of in this like levitating state where you're trying to like not let your feet hit the ground, and you're trying not to like let reality slap you in the face, you know, snap back to reality. It's like you're just trying not to land because you're scared of how far you could fall. That's an interesting situation. You're both wanting to work on this, but I think you both are coming in with a sense of caution. But I do feel like this ladder of success isn't just for this person. I feel like it's also for this relationship. And this passion can be like, just turn the heat down slowly or slightly so that you can begin again slowly. And so that you can like reignite the enthusiasm that you had for each other. And it's almost like a do-over. Like, can we start again? Almost like you want to shake hands and re-meet them. Like, hi, how you doing? Yeah, hi, I'm this person. And you're bringing a whole lot of new energy. Both of you are. This person is really worked on their situation that was really crushing them, burdening them, holding them back. And as you can see, like, I think they typed a lot of messages with this messenger, and it's like a crumbling base. This person really couldn't bring themselves to involve you in their BS, but also they couldn't let themselves be distracted from their purpose here. But I think this is something that if you both want to invest, it can be quite fruitful. Okay, so this card these cards were meant to be about, are they thinking about you too? So can we get more information? Are they thinking about pile number 2 too? Let me shed more light on that, please, Spirit. Success. Yeah. Clear communication is absolutely key here to success. And I feel like it's a case of like Icarus. This person, I just said he. But Icarus, I guess, was a guy. A god. Who flew too close to the sun and got burned. Okay, and I feel like this person thinks of you like that, and that's why they had to keep their distance. But there is a sense of success will come from this. Big happy changes, and I felt called to put that over the Lovers card here. So I feel like you're actually going to be like, oh, thank God, finally. And you're throwing your hands in the air. And look at these cards. Look how joyful both of these are. Big happy changes and success, okay? Big happy changes, and it's coming soon. There's a sense of clarity coming through where it's like, oh, I felt like that. Oh my gosh, did you? So do I. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we put ourselves through this. You know, life works in mysterious ways. Gee, what a big lesson. But I really feel like divine counterpart energy is here, that you had this separation so that you could both work on yourselves and work on your attachment styles, especially here. But together I feel you both have a lot of success materially as well, with that Seven of Pentacles coming through at the bottom. Yes, this person is definitely thinking about you. This is giving me Two of Pentacles vibes, but also Chariot energy as well, with the Sun and the Moon. So one of you might be a fire sign and one of you might be a water sign. But yes, absolutely, you're both thinking about each other. There's a sense of balance coming so that you can both move forward. Once this communication happens, it creates success and big happy changes, and you can both move forward in the one direction, working as like a galaxy in union, okay? And ask your angels. If you need further advice about this, you need to meditate on this. If you want to learn all the lessons that you can possibly learn from this so that you can come to this meeting, this communication, this message, like exchange, as the most healed and happy version of yourself, so that you can not just be assertive but also be compassionate and understanding and actually get the outcome that you want. I feel like there's a sense of deep meditation going on here, and you may have already been communicating a lot with your angels about this situation, and that's why you kind of kept this in the back of your mind, where you were like, well, I've purposely tried not to think about this person, but they've crept into my dream space. They've crept into my idle thoughts. And I think you've had conversations with your angels where you're like, but why is this happening? And it's been happening because this person has deeply been thinking about you and also denying themselves of that. But I think it's truly, and my nose is starting to run, so your angels are present, and really like wanting to assert that message that whenever you need them, throughout this relationship or otherwise, please come to your angels. There's a big message of like, that was part of your lesson in this. Pile number 2, in the separation of this, is not just to work on your attachment styles, but also to recognize your intuition and to recognize how to actually communicate with your angels and how helpful they are, how much they do actually have your back, and how spiritually like evolved you've actually become as a result of this. And I think that your impact, like that has deeply impacted the other person. They actually see you as quite spiritual, and again with that Empress energy that I keep like imagining in my mind. What is the advice here for pile number 2, please, Spirit? What is the advice regarding the situation between these two people? What is the advice? Reflect on your priorities. Last quarter moon in Aquarius and first quarter moon in Leo. Be humble. Okay, so I do feel like it's a sense of like, what do I really want? What do I want out of love? What do I want out of life? It feels quite practical, you know, it's not just about love. I feel like a lot of relationships in the past you've had to let go of because it was like, love isn't enough. I need also support and backing and someone I can build and grow with. And I feel like you're really addressing that and almost making like a pros and cons list and making a list of the things that are a priority in your life, so that when this person and all their stuff comes back into your life, that you actually come from a place of, well, this is how I live my life independently, and so I'd still like to keep a part of that, please, but I will compromise and meet you halfway. Okay, and then you've got be humble, and I think that is a sense of like that meet me halfway energy, where you're like, look, I understand why you had to do this. I understand it was painful for both of us, but you know what? I'm not going to like accuse you and throw you back in the frying pan for what I know I probably couldn't have handled in a like in the same way, you know, or I would have probably handled it in the same way. By detaching myself, because it would be very hard for me to come from a place of doing it all at once. I like, who can do that? Not often a lot of people can. So that is the message that I have for you, pile number 2. Very intense situation, but I do feel like this is coming through very soon. Yeah, I do feel like this is happening. This has got a lot of healing energy for it. This has got a lot of confidence building around it as well, okay? I think what's going to be changing here is there's accepting each other's quirks, accepting each other for who you are, and really accepting the beauty within each other. Okay, interesting message here, pile number 2. Please let me know how it resonated in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Pile number 3, this is your reading all about why you can't stop thinking about them, and are they thinking about you too? Because when we can understand our thoughts, we can then understand like why we're doing what we're doing and how we can do things differently, okay? And how we can process our thoughts. Sometimes if we keep our emotions all trapped into our in our bodies, in our minds, in our souls, it can show up as dis-ease in the body, and we definitely don't want that. So I've already pulled some cards for you. I'm going to lay these out now. This is why you can't stop thinking about them. Okay. Got the sweet smell of Palo Santo in the air as I was just clearing the energy. Share your voice, priestess, take a break, surrender to the sweetness, and balance and opposition is here. So there may be some mirroring going on in your interactions that need to be brought into balance, or that's like triggering you or triggering them. Something needs to be confronted here, made conscious. Something needs to be manifested into the real world. This can also be something that conflicts with, tests you, objectifies something, calls something out, okay? So it's an interaction that needs to happen here. And obviously share your voice is coming from a place of like needing to speak, but you've also got grapes, time to go out and have fun, and that like matches perfectly with this take a break card. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill, okay? So there's a sense of like doing the most here and needing to actually take a little trip, a little vacation. This might have actually happened on vacation for some of you. You've got clouds, which is a temporary problem. And it's interesting because this card here is quite in the dark. This person's looking out from their dark cave and looking out into like clearer waters. Looking in from like a starry night sky, but like they're hidden in the shadows. So something isn't quite clear between the two of you. And then mountain, major challenge to overcome here. With this priestess card, it says, how are you being called to step up and lead? And how do you get up a mountain is like one step at a time, right? One step at a time, you step up and lead, and you actually go up that mountain. Interesting message. Surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Come out of the cave, persecution, expression. What is this major challenge to overcome here? I think you're really having like a spiritual evolution, and you're coming out of the spiritual cave. This break that you're taking might be like a break from your job, career, and actually going to learn more about spirituality, because then this like building here just reminds me of somewhere that you would go on a retreat to actually like dive more into your psyche, your spirit, your soul. And then this sweetness, surrender to the sweetness, it just feels like these cards are all quite pastel, but there's also something quite murky about them. And then you've got this card and it's like fresh and brighter, and the vibrancy's turned up. It feels like a breakup, but I'm going to actually get more information before I start to like read fully into that. I think this is very much something that you knew was coming, that you saw the mountain ahead, and now that the clouds have parted, you see the mountain for what it is, and there's a sense of like, well, I'm thinking about this. I feel like this is like an impending breakup, where you have been kept in the spiritual closet by your partner, and you're actually feeling a little bit trapped in this relationship. So whether it's a relationship of work or whether it's a relationship of love, I think you kind of saw this coming. With that priestess energy, it's giving me high priestess vibes. And I think that you really knew deep within you that this wasn't the match for you. Like whether it wasn't the right job fit for you or whether it wasn't the right relationship for you. And the settling down into a new position or finding your new path is just temporarily cloudy, okay? So the clouds are parted enough for you to see the mountain for what it is and to look in the mirror and go, okay, I've got to be real with myself and call myself out here. And there is going to be temporary opposition. There's going to be temporary conflict with another party. But it feels like that's not my problem. Okay, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, in actually a very logical and practical sense. It's like, well, you know, I'm not indebted to anyone or any one company, or I don't owe anyone anything for the way that I shift and change in my life and the way that I'm called to do and act in certain ways in my life, as long as you're not hurting anyone. And I really feel like this change of heart that you've had hasn't been an overnight thing. I think you've kept yourself in a cave, a spiritual cave, for quite a long time. And this pyramid in the background is really like the mountain, that like the major a challenge that you feel like you need to overcome, but it's not like you need to climb it, it's like you need to dig under it. Interesting. Pile number 3, please, Spirit. Can you give us more information about why they can't stop thinking about this person and what situation it pertains to? Is it love? Is it career? And why can't they stop thinking about this person? And who is the person involved here? That's what we really need to know, because I feel like there's a story here, but I don't feel like I know who the person is that is on your mind. Wow, I just heard a version of yourself. That's who you can't stop thinking about. Whoa, that's a powerful, powerful message. Wow. I'm like, wow. I was not expecting that. Which way did that want to go? Okay, cool. So we've got the Strength card, Leo energy, Knight of Cups, Pisces energy. And we've got the Six of Swords. Interesting. You're finding the strength to make these moves, that's for sure. It does feel like a love situation, or it feels like a creative pursuit, okay? It feels like you're wanting to find the inner strength to move towards the things that actually make you happier. And these two are quite movement energy. You've got Strength, which is a lion that, you know, will get up and get speed, and also the Knight who travels towards someone or something. And then you've also got the Six of Swords, which is also a movement card, and my nose is getting itchy, so your spirit guides are here with you. And the Six of Swords is moving towards calmer waters, and, you know, packing everything up in your boat and saying, well, I'm dipping, I'm out, I'm off on a new adventure. And putting some distance between you and something else, transitioning, okay? Transitioning, leaving something behind, moving on to something else. Aquarius energy here, and Taurus energy as well. Yeah, who is the person? You've got the Ten of Swords at the bottom. Painful endings, death, definitely an ending. Seven of Swords, someone being deceitful that was stopping you from moving forward. Yeah, I'm strongly picking up that this is a relationship. However, there is still the element that it may be separating yourself from a career, and if so, then it's the boss, or it's like your supervisor, your like first in charge, like to you, the person that you report to is really trying to like belittle you or keep you small just to meet their needs, okay? This person doesn't really have your best interests at heart. There's a sense of betrayal going on, and you know it. And they know that you have the power to actually move forward and to head in a new direction. And they actually know that this is going to happen quite soon. The communication where you're like, you know what, see you later is coming in. And they know it. They know it. The Empress energy is underneath. You're going to be pregnant with ideas, possibly even pregnant to like a better situation. Okay, take that word as like as not a physical symptom, and I don't like to use that word, but not like a physical representation of that word, as more of a metaphorically pregnant with ideas here, and pregnant with momentum is what I'm hearing as well. But this Ten of Swords is really talking about being stabbed in the back for so long that you're actually like gaining the strength to get back up and have a rebirth of your own. With this death energy, it's like, right, I want to just like wipe the slate clean, burn the forest to the ground, and then I want to rebirth this situation and have new shoots grow so that I can move in a healthier direction and take each one of these swords out of my back. And I'm not going to hurt anyone in doing this. That is not my intention whatsoever. With the Empress energy, it's real mothering energy. That is not your intention at all. And then you've got the High Priestess energy here as well. So it definitely feels like something that is more of a creative pursuit that you want to call towards. I relate strongly to this. Okay, and I don't like to bring my own story into a lot of these readings, but just then when I felt that priestess empress kind of vibe, you may relate to having like a very like loveless situation, whether that is loveless in career or whether it felt like you were working for the man and that was actually your partner, whether that was male or female or whatever. Just talking about like energy, okay? It just feels like you were working for the man in terms of like someone was controlling you and you were allowing that, and in fact you just snapped out of it. And it may have actually like been an overnight snap, but it's taken you some time. I'm feeling like the period of like the changing of the moons. So yeah, but it's possibly taking you many moons, I just heard, not just one month, but like, or one moon cycle. It's taking you some time to gain the energy, gain the strength to share your voice, to express yourself to the point where you're like asserting yourself without being hurtful towards the other person. But you actually are kind of saying like, I'm recognizing that this situation was unfair for my soul, for my spirit, and I actually felt used. I actually felt like I was constantly facing mountains and I was almost like the scapegoat. Like I was the one that had to be. And if you're relating as someone who is a divine feminine and you just want to receive love and you want to receive things, you've got a strong urge for that, and you might be feeling quite scared of that because you're like, well, I have to contribute in some way. I have to do something to earn my love and blah, 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 blah. But I feel this like coming up against so many mountains has really put you in like a daddy emperor energy instead of the empress energy that was showing up under the deck here. And this is like Capricorn energy. It is the mountain goat. It is someone who is like really working like consistently, selflessly, always putting themselves last, and just becomes very dry. And not to call out Capricorns, but like to really call out the efforts that they go to work and to prioritize work and to get things done and to do. You know what I mean? It becomes extremely tiring to be the one who is always like on the go and is always the one like to save the day, to get things done, to make things happen. And I think you were scapegoated into that position by a divine masculine who wasn't, a masculine who wasn't in their divinity, someone who was very much lacking the gall to see your worth as a divine feminine and what you bring to the table, and actually just wanted you to do their job. Okay? They wanted you to do their job and your job and everyone else's job, and you're just exhausted. And this is why you really need to retreat. This take a break, a life's work, not a season, is really calling artists to me, because we look at what we create as artists as our life's work. Okay? It's not just like, I mean, people say you're only as good as your last cup of coffee that you made as a barista, or you're only as good as your last piece of art that you made. It's not true in the art world. It's you're expected to fail over and over and over again, or at least that's how you should see yourself, and see yourself as your whole life is your art, okay? And I really feel a strong calling for you to come out of the closet spiritually and spread your wings. This woman, this priestess, is really like asked to lead herself first, so that these wings that are by her side can actually come up and impress, not just impress, but like inspire everyone around her who is potentially like also hiding in loveless relationships, always thinks that this is as good as it's going to get, always feels like there's a cloudy moment, and just wants to be like fed the grapes. You know, you don't want to be doing all the work and be the wife, the mother, the maid, and the other. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like you really want to get out, spread your wings, have fun, surrender to the sweetness of life, pull all the swords out of your goddamn back, and gain some self-love and self-respect. Okay, and I think this is why you're thinking about this other person, is because it's two people in my mind. It's either your lover or your boss, or it's your higher self. And you're constantly thinking about this because you're like, how will that person react? You're almost trying to gauge, like, are they getting how to get 2 steps ahead of this person so that you don't fall back into their grasp or their control. Okay, and it's really, you have to think about your higher self in this position, because you have to act as that person even if you don't feel like that person just yet. It's like you've had this awakening, but you're actually being called right now to step into like faith it till you make it. Not fake it till you make it, but faith it till you make it. So that you're like practicing in becoming that person that you want to become, by making the moves you need to move away from the person that is keeping you trapped and held, and who keeps adding more burdens to your back, who keeps like, I just heard, and I hate this expression, flogging the dead horse. Okay, with this death energy here in Scorpio, it just feels like a symbolic death. Okay, it feels like a big change is required here. It does feel like you understand there is a line in the sand here. There's no going back. It's just, you know, it's time to move on. It's time to let this go. It's time to have a transformation. And it may not be anything huge, at least like in your soft, big heart. You don't think this person has done anything hugely wrong, and you kind of do blame yourself in that you allowed things, like you allowed yourself to stay in this position of being a wally worker for someone else's dreams and goals. But it does feel like this person has wronged you, because I do feel like they fully understood who you were and the power that you have, and they did not honor that. Okay, and yes, you allowed it, but this person, by not honoring that, I mean, at the end of the day, they're only doing themselves a disservice, because they're also staying in something that isn't working out, and they're very aware of that, but they were in denial, and they were just focused on the receiving. They wanted their cake and they wanted to eat it too, but you're really saying enough is enough. I'm going to dive into my courage. I've had a lot of inner stillness in this cave, okay, and cage, I just heard, with this lion energy. It's like the lion has been caged for too long. You've tamed the beast for long enough, and now you're actually like going to get on the top of that beast and ride the hell out of there, and you're taking your cup of love with you. You're not intending to hurt anyone in the process, and you're actually coming at this with a graceful, artistic, tactful, diplomatic kind of sense, but you're also not willing to negotiate your soul away. That is one thing you will now no longer negotiate on, is how your soul feels. But you definitely are wanting to put some distance between you and move on to calmer waters. This is very much something brought this into your awareness, something like stared you in the face. Okay, so that's very interesting message here. Is this other person, the lover or the boss, are they thinking about you too? I think they don't know what's coming here. I think they're so in denial, head in the sand, like happy with the status quo of you busting your ass, and you've done that for so long and endured that for so long without complaint, or little or no complaint, that they're just like going to be really taken by surprise. And I think that's why you're thinking about them, because you're like, I know that that's how they're going to feel, and I am a little bit cautious. I'm a little bit scared of the reaction that might come from that. But is pile three's person thinking about them too? Is pile three's person thinking about them too? Just one more card, please, Spirit. Big happy changes, trust, and ask for help from others. Do you know what? I really do feel like this person has no idea what's coming. But if they're really honest with themselves, and your spiritual awakening might actually force one on them. However, don't expect miracles, right? I feel like this person is extremely stubborn, extremely stuck in their ways. Trust that all will be well, and trust that sometimes a shake-up is exactly what's needed. Sometimes the immediate death is better. Like it's pulling the band-aid off. Okay, there's a real sense of this person really does understand that they have betrayed you because they've done it purposefully. Okay, and I do think that they have seen that you've had the power all along. They've absolutely seen that, and I think the messages about this is going to come in thick and fast, and that's what makes me really think that, like, although they knew that you had the power all along to do it, it's one of those things where it's like an engagement that they didn't know was happening. Like, oh, we've talked about it for so long that I just didn't know it was going to happen. This is like a disengagement. Okay, this is like a disconnect, and they kind of had a fear all along that you were going to do this, but that fear was born from their own their paranoia of their own guilt. Literally, the paranoia of their own guilt. Okay, their scheming is finally coming to end, and it will shock them that you finally got the courage to actually do this. But I think they really understood, if they're really honest with themselves, that you had the power to do this all along. So just trust that it's going to be the right thing at the right time. And big happy changes are due from this, and you know this. With this priestess energy, you've been called, strongly called into this new direction, and with this new direction is going to come a bit of fun, a bit of a time out, a bit of learning. I'm feeling as well. The clouds and the temporary problem of separating things and finding new avenues and finding new housing and finding new love, and not even finding new love at this point, but finding that new you and that higher version of yourself, and really shaking hands with that person and getting to know that person. This is where you're going to have to ask for help from others. And for someone who is such a giver and doer and has been in their divine masculine for so long, it's really going to be quite humbling for you to be like, do you know what? I'm finally setting myself free. Are you able to help me from this? And I think that you're going to see a lot of people gather around you who are going, and angels and spirit guides and ancestors as well. Okay, friends, family, people that you didn't even know cared as much as they do, are really going to be there for you if you ask. You have to have the courage to ask for help though. Okay, so that's very interesting. I'm excited for you, and I also know it can be quite scary, but it's interesting that this whole reading was, the purpose of this reading was to say, why can't you stop thinking about this person? I think you've been thinking about this person and that person's needs for so long. I'm feeling decades, okay? And you've been thinking now about your higher self for many moons or a season or a month or something like that, to do with like moon cycles. And they're conflicting now. In your mind, it's like that person has gotten so much of your time, thought, care, everything, all your attention, blood, sweat and tears for so long, that when your higher self made itself known and really with your angelic team was really calling you in a new direction, it's like they're battling out in your brain. Okay, so very interesting that why can't you stop thinking about them is because there's a battle going on and it needs to be resolved, and it will be resolved, and soon you'll be diving into this oasis. Okay, you'll be digging under this pyramid and finding the gold within. And I love that for you. Absolutely beautiful. What is the advice here for pile number 3, please, Spirit? First quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. You are. You absolutely are. New moon in Taurus, know your worth. Yep, you're going to finally draw in people to your life who know your worth, see your worth, appreciate your worth. I just heard like lay you out in luxury. Okay, so very much a holiday vibe. Someone taking you away on a break. Beautiful energy there with that Taurus new moon. Know your worth. And I think by you giving yourself like the love and courage and self-care, and you seeing your worth first will obviously help you to make these moves, and then to draw in other people around you that give you what you are worth. Push through any insecurity. First quarter moon in Cancer, okay? So it feels like something is like gaining momentum here. You're really like at the tipping point of, okay, it's go time. The messages need to be sent. The conversations need to be had. You know, I'm gathering all my evidence, and it's not like you need evidence. It's just like I'm gathering all my strength, and I'm gathering how to communicate this to someone who has taken me for a ride for so long and taken advantage of me for so long. It's almost like it's a good thing to take them by surprise here, to give you like that winning edge, to give you the power and the insecurity that you don't deserve better. The insecurity that who am I to have this spiritual awakening? I don't like dress a certain way. I don't live a certain way. You can be called out of the blue. Absolutely. Okay, pile 3, you are worthy. Push through any of the insecurities that are saying you can't do it, and tap in and meet your higher self. Like, come and faith it till you make it, and become that person in this moving on period, so that you can separate yourself from this person who has already had so much of your time and thoughts. Okay, those thoughts that are keeping you up at night, and the daggers that this person has like left in your heart, okay, from things that they've cruelly said to you, is really what you want to get out of your mind, out of your soul. Okay, there's going to be a lot of like cord cutting, and honestly I feel like you're not going to think about this person anymore. Once this is done, you won't even like, people will say this person's name, and they no longer occupy the amount of space in your brain as they did before. Okay, you really are getting out all your thoughts now, and this is why you're constantly thinking about this person. It's going to be painful, but it's also going to collapse what isn't working so that something better can be rebuilt. Very excited for you, pile 3, sending you all my love. Please let me know in the comments below how this resonated. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.